So the younger band members are not as familiar with the issue, but being as such, I will bring everybody up to speed right now. We have spoken about this issue many times in open council meetings and have done a lot of work on this and other trespass issues. It's regarding the Enbridge lines in Clearwater County. There are 4 pipelines that have been running across a plot of Red Lake tribal land in Clearwater County near Leonard, Minnesota since 1950 at a site called Four-Legged Lake. Construction of the first line started in 1950 by a company called Lakehead Gas, which was later sold to Enbridge Oil. Additional lines were put in 1954, 1963, and 1973. All of these lines were put in without the consent of the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians. The tribe received confirmation that these lines were in fact on tribal lands around 1984. In the 80s, there were so many reports of trespass in Indian country that Congress passed 25 U.S. Code 2415 and directed the BIA to identify and publish tribal land holdings allegedly in trespass. Red Lake, through that process, identified several parcels of land that fit the description and awaited resources from BIA to address the trespass issue. The BIA notified Lakehead Gas that they were in fact in trespass on Indian land, and then they went no further. The identification process itself was severely underfunded, and Congress did not approve resources for additional efforts, so the issue lay dormant for many years. Until recent years, when the Tribal Council demanded that Enbridge atone for 60 years of trespass, the issue was pretty much quiet. Red Lake has never, ever entertained the thought of selling land. We're not in the business of selling land here at Red Lake. Every Red Laker knows that. Even if we wanted to, let's say for example, even if we wanted to, we wouldn't be able to do so without the consent of you, the Red Lake people, and also without the approval of Congress. So there's not tribal council members running around trying to sell land on you. This is some of the stuff that's out there right now. So the tribal council established a treaty committee to engage Enbridge and begin talks on how to resolve this issue. This committee is comprised of myself, the chairman, legal counsel, realty department, tribal elders, and any of the council members that wish to participate. Red Lake engaged Enbridge, raised issues that included everything from flow-through fees, tribal licensing, land exchanges, possible litigation, and finally, removal of their pipelines from Red Lake lands. After no meaningful discussion regarding trespass occurred, the Tribal Council ordered Enbridge Oil to evacuate Red Lake tribal lands, and a letter to that effect was sent to Enbridge Oil on January 2012, and that came directly from the tribal chairman to Enbridge Oil. The response by Enbridge was to offer to pay the band approximately $350,000 based on an old BIA lease rates from the 1940s and 50s. Red Lake cited the fact that Enbridge had settled land access issues with other Minnesota tribes in excess of $10 million, and that their offer was an insult to the Red Lake band. The treaty committee reported back to the Tribal Council the settlement offer that Enbridge proposed, and it was rejected unanimously by the Red Lake Tribal Council. This was in August of last year. Since that time, there have been no talks. We haven't really heard from Enbridge. I think we got a letter a couple of days ago. They're going to increase the capacity or put a new pump in out there that's going to blast more oil, actually around the lines that are located on our lands. And so they're going to ramp up their efforts anyway, regardless of what we say. So that's the last we've heard from them. What we're doing now then is the treaty committee rejected this settlement offer, and since that time we've just basically said, well, let's file in tribal court and bring them in here. They still have to atone for this 60 years of trespass. We didn't give them permission to be there. We never accepted anything from them. We haven't signed anything, any contracts or agreements or negotiated anything of that sort. We always report back to our tribal government here. When we go out and do meetings like that, they're more fact-finding missions. And a lot of times I don't even attend those because they expect the tribal leader, if the tribal leader's here, then what we talked about is bona fide, so. But we have approached things very professionally. We have attorneys and lawyers and treaty experts and elders and people who work very hard. Take these issues seriously. This is not small time here. We're talking about the Red Lake Band, one of the most powerful Indian tribes in the country, and certainly the largest land-based sovereign power in the United States. We know our business here when it comes to treaty rights, so we don't mess around. All of this stuff I'm telling you today has been discussed in open, public tribal council meetings. I encourage all of our band members to pay attention to the workings of the tribal council, and feel free to ask your elected representatives about these issues if you have questions. That's what we're there for. We'll listen to you. We'll answer your questions the best we can. If we can't answer your questions, we'll try to find the people who can answer them for you. That's what you elected us to do. Transparency. Look out for your interests. Look out, protect our tribal lands and our resources. And that's what we're doing. These are Red Lake tribal lands. It's the responsibility of the band to protect and preserve our territories for generations to come. We also have a duty, though, to assure compliance with band laws on our Red Lake lands. We're not against peaceful protest, as long as no tribal laws are violated. If they are, we have a duty to enforce those laws. We have to assert our jurisdiction in our tribal lands and our territories and authority in matters that pertain to Red Lake, especially parcels located away from the main reservation. There's a lot of trespass that takes place. Northwest Angle, Beltrami County ceded lands, people going across our territories, taking animals, taking resources. We're a huge tribe. We have very few resources. So it's extremely difficult for our Department of Natural Resource and our conservation departments to police all of these areas. But some places, they just tear our signs down. They'll put a sign up. This is the Indian lands of the Red Lake Band. They'll come by and tear those signs down, they'll run them over, and they'll say, no, this thing, especially like up in the northern part of Minnesota. Those are our treaty territories, all the way up into Canada. That's our land. And we don't appreciate being treated that way by people who think we don't have the right either, or at least our territories. But this is our job as elected officials. We take these duties seriously. We address them in a well thought out and professional manner. We approach all trespass issues in a like manner, whether it be the Northwest Angle, ceded lands, or four-legged lake. The Indigenous Environmental Network was notified of everything that I'm sharing with you now, but they want to pursue their own approach to dealing with Enbridge, rather than wait for the Red Lake Band to use its own processes. Apparently, saying we signed stuff, and I went out there and told the cops to throw everybody in jail, and this is the kind of misinformation that gets out there. I did tell the network there, that as long as people respect our laws, that's fine. But if we have to do that. But we went out there yesterday, not me, but the law enforcement went out just to see that everything was okay. They were very respectful. I know our Red Lake District Representative Donald May went out there. He was very respectful to the people, answered all their questions. I hung around for a little while and chatted with the people, and we just want to make sure everybody's safe. If we don't do that, the state of Minnesota will. So those are our lands. We have to do those kind of things, or else someone else is going to do it. You know, so that's our responsibility. Hopefully, movements like I Don't Know More will have continued success in addressing these types of issues in the future. Here at Red Lake, the Tribal Council fights these same issues every day on behalf of you, our band members. So we just want to be respectful, and you know, we're not about causing trouble with anybody, and we hope that nobody's about causing trouble with us. I want to talk about political action. I'm hearing